From Anshe Sfar Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Thank you for joining us at our discussion of Chanukah, the Jewish achievement test. During this time of year, time of Chanukah, very often we read the Parsha of Vayeshev. There in Vayeshev, we encounter a hero which I would say is very much a Jewish hero. He is, in fact, Judah, Yehudah. Yehudah is a Jewish hero, and why do I say that? Because his heroism consists in the fact that he said, Tzadikah mimeni. She, Tamar, is more righteous than I am. He recognized his errors. He recognized how he was behaving improperly with his daughter-in-law, Tamar. This act of heroism, of recognizing what's right and what's wrong, this is Jewish heroism. It's not what he achieved. It's not his great Herculean act of lifting the world. Simply, he recognized his own failings. David, his descendant, are in many ways our quintessential hero, the prototype for the Mashiach himself. David is known for two words, Chatati Lashem. I have sinned to God. And that made David a great hero. It's a special Jewish type of heroism. If we look at Chanukah, we say, what is Chanukah? In many ways, it's Chanukah HaMizbeach. It's a dedication of the temple. And what is a temple? Temple is a place where you have sacrifices that are offered. A person has to sacrifice themselves. And the Gemara in Sukkot talks about what they would say on Sukkot about the sacrifice, about the temple itself. And they'd say, Yofi lach mizbeach, Yofi lach mizbeach. That the altar, the Jewish sacrifice, whether it's of a person saying, I have sinned, whether it's a person struggling with their difficult challenges in life, this is Yofi lach mizbeach, the sacrifice of the Jewish people. That's beautiful. That is the greatest beauty of them all. Here on Chanukah, we're fighting the Greeks. The Greeks are all about beauty and the beauty of the body and the beauty of the human achievement, the power of the human being. Chanukah is all about Yofi lach mizbeach, the beauty of a different nature, the beauty of the altar itself. If you look in Chanukah, there's a very strange halacha. What happens if your Chanukah candles go out? Right? You light them, you try, you have the oil and you put the wick, you get a good match and you light it, and it seems fine. About 3 minutes later, it goes out. Happens all the time. What happens in that case? What's the law? Do you have to relight it or not? Kavta, if it goes out, zakukla, are you obliged and connected to it that you must relight it? Or kavta, if it goes out, ein zakukla, you have no requirement to go and put it back on. And we maintain the position. Kavta, ein zakukla. If it goes out, you don't have to put it back on. Why? If it's not lit, if the candle which I lit to be lit for half an hour, where I have enough oil to last for half an hour or more, and it goes out, why is that sufficient? Why is that a good enough candle lighting if it only lit for just a few seconds? And the answer is that this is the idea of Jewish heroism. The idea is to do the action. The idea of Chanukah is a different type of achievement. It's a different type of achievement test. It means, did I have the will and the desire to do the right thing and light that candle? And did I actually do it? Whether you achieve it or not, that's a different question. The Sfas Emes, the Rabbi writes, that when we look in these parshiot, these Torah readings we have these days, the next one of Miketz, which almost always falls on Chanukah, there you have the big fat cows. And you know what happens to that big fat cow that Paro is so proud of? It's eaten and consumed by the thin cow. The great human achievements of the fat cow can be eaten and consumed by the thin cow. But the desire, the flame, the passion to light a candle, that can never be consumed. As Hashem turns to Aharon and says that you will always light these candles. The candles which are lit by those who have that Jewish heroism, that Jewish beauty. Their light, the victory of Chanukah, the victory of the few over the many, light over darkness. This victory cannot be consumed by any thin cows, by any sort of distraction passing by. No, the victory of Chanukah, our achievement, is not one that can be that we conquered and taken over, and where all our efforts can go in vain. As we say, Anu amelim v'hem amelim. We toil and we receive reward, whether we achieve anything or not. Because in Torah, in the life of God, in the life of Judaism, it's what you do and it's what you intend to do that is the most important thing. Aaron is the one who lights the menorah. We on Chanukah stand in his stead and light the Chanukah. And in some way, we have that hod, that hadar, that splendor, that beauty that only Aaron exuded because he lit the menorah. Whether it goes out or not afterwards, that's a different question. But the key thing is that we have indeed lit the fire. We showed that desire and that willingness to do so. This relates to the Gemara says about the study of Torah. Sometimes you make a theory in Torah and it turns out that the theory is wrong. And the Gemara says that Nachum Amsuni said to his students, "Keshem shekibalti schar al adrisha, kach kabel schar al aprisha." Just as I receive reward for making this theory, I'll receive reward for dismantling the theory as well. Our efforts and efforts in good faith, efforts to do something for God, are never in vain. Even if the theory turns out to be wrong, the effort to study Torah, the effort it takes to admit that you're wrong, the effort it takes to overcome our evil inclination, these are efforts that never go in vain. We always have reward for it. These are efforts that we turn to the altar, and we turn to the altar of all of our sacrifices we make in life. We say, Yofi lach mizbeach, Yofi lach mizbeach. How beautiful it is. The passions, the desires, and the gifts of the Jewish people. This is something you can't take away from this. It's a different type of achievement. It's the Jewish achievement test. On Chanukah, we celebrate what we desire to do, all the good that we desire to do, regardless of whether the temple lasted or the temple fell eventually 200 years later. But that desire to put up a temple, that message goes on for all generations. You can't take away the victory of Chanukah from any human being. You can't take away any mitzvah that a Jew does. You can't take it away from you. You have it for your whole life. The struggles and sacrifices you make for yourself, for your children, for Judaism, for Torah, are not something anyone can take away from you. You did it. You achieved it. It's not a building. It can't be knocked down. It's not a cow. It can't be eaten up. The lighting of the menorah is an act of reflecting inner passion and desire to do the right thing. And when you do the right thing, that's an achievement that no one can ever take away. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshe Sfar Beth Elameth congregation for a discussion on Chanukah. And join us again each week for a discussion on the holidays or the Parsha. I want to thank Jason Lefkowitz for making our presentation today possible. And feel free to visit us at ASBEE.net to learn more about the Anshe Sfar Beth Elameth congregation here in Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you very much.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.